I have wanted a high top on my 1985 Volkswagen Vanagon for, well, I don't know how long now. I think the biggest reason on why I haven't done it yet is because of the daunting task of ripping off my pop top and permanently installing this high top forever. So in this video, I'm going to be attempting to do just that, and I'm going to bring you guys along with me. This is a Coastal Mountain Hightop. They've been around since 2017, and I went with this particular one because it utilizes a classic hightop design that follows the lines of the Vanagon beautifully. And they're based out of Seattle, Washington, which is right here in the USA. I was able to pick this one up in Bend, Oregon from a small shop, and he helped me take my pop top off and temporarily install this hightop for the drive back to Salt Lake. So now that I have found a place to do this install, we're lifting it back off and placing it on these 2x4s. Now we're cleaning up the edge of the high top, so we have a good baseline on where we need to trim so it fits perfectly flush on the roof of the Westie. It's recommended that you do all of this with the high top off of the van completely, but it's also recommended to take the high top off of the van completely, that you have like 5 or 6 people to help out. But we don't have 5 or 6 people, it's just the 2 of us. Step 1 is done. We got the whole pop top cleaned up. I went ahead and cleaned out the gutters and the whole roof on the inside as well. And Alex is working on, oh, this is Alex, by the way. He's helping me with the high top install, and he's just masking off the entire roof here, so once we do that final bead, we don't have to worry about that. We still need to set the top back down in the back here and do a little bit of trimming on these back 2 corners. I've heard they don't sit quite right, so we're gonna set it down, see where we need to cut, and then cut it and then go from there. Now that everything's cleaned up, we have it masked off on the roof itself. We're gonna set it down and see how much we need clearance in the back. After the back is done and nicely sealed up, we'll lift it back up and start scuffing up the ceiling surface before we glue it down. These high tops are large fiberglass molds, and they're going on Volkswagen vans that are like 40 years old. So if all I have to do is clearance out 2 corners, that's fine. We got the roof down and we got it pretty level right here in the front. It doesn't look like we'll need to do any trimming in the front because it kind of bows out with the curvature of the van. Now we just wanted it to be about 1/8 of an inch from the windshield seal, and it looks like we'll need to trim these 2 corners just a little bit, just so we get a better seal on the back part of the high top itself. And then from the looks of it, both the passenger side and the driver's side gutters look really even. We threw up some towels so we don't get any fiberglass shavings inside the van, or trying to eliminate it as much as possible when we cut the corner here. So I pretty much just need to cut this whole corner down a lot, so the gap between the top and the roof of the van closes up. This process took us a lot longer than we both thought. I am not a perfectionist, but when it comes to things like this, I don't want this roof to leak. So we lifted the roof off, we put it back on, we lifted it off, when we put it back on, and trimmed as necessary until it started to take shape and it was looking like something we're both satisfied with. So it turns out that fiberglass kind of sucks to grind. It goes everywhere, and yeah, I'm still living in the van, by the way. I feel like I'm gonna be sleeping with fiberglass for the next month. Anyway, we got the top all ground down. We got the seam as good as we can. There's not a whole lot of light going through, but there are a few like two spots that we'll just need to double up on the sealant. It should be good. I have full confidence in it. It's not like I'm driving 70 miles an hour going in reverse. Can't even do that going forward. Now that the high top is fitting perfectly on the van, I'm using this 3M Scotch-Brite pad to scuff up the sealing surface. The reasoning for this is to give the adhesive something to grab onto. Now it doesn't need to go down to bare metal, but it does need to be rougher than just smooth paint. I took my time on a few areas that had a little bit of surface rust, but nothing bad. I think we've gotten everything as prepped as best as we can, and it is finally time to lower the top and start filling in all the gaps with sealant. And we've got two sealants that we're gonna do. This will be the first sealant that goes down. It's the fast drying Loctite PL adhesive sealant. Marine fast cure. I think it cures in about 24 hours, and then we're going to go over it with the 3M marine adhesive sealant that's a little bit more runny. That's why we're not going to start with that. We're going to start with the thicker stuff that dries a little bit faster, and then apply the 3M sealant on the inside and the outside. Alex is checking to see if it actually came in the mail. Hopefully it did. It did come in the mail. Just found this on the front porch. It's the 3M Marine Adhesive Sealant 5200, and that's what we're gonna be using on the inside and the outside of the hard top itself. So hopefully this will hold it down. It's my idea, and this will properly secure it and stop water from escaping or coming in. You know, the first option, or our original plan, what we were gonna do is strap the roof down, have it all good to go, and then run the glue from the inside and outside and get all the seams down. But once we got it down and started looking at it, the front and the sides overlap, which is good, but it's bad if we wanted to do our original plan. So we ended up just pulling it back off, and now we're running the Loctite glue between all of the seams, and then we'll set it down, wedging all of the glue in between the high top and the van, and then we'll let that cure, and then we'll use a 3M sealer to cover up all of the Loctite sealer.
I might just do that last part. I
think it's time to actually do it this time. What do you think?
Absolutely.
Did not do it right the first time, but you know what? I'm no professional. This is actually my first time installing a high top roof on a Vanagon, and it's going really well, actually.
Front is up. And I'm going down. Let me know. You want to stare at it from the front?
Yeah.
Hurry up. I'm not that strong.
You're good.
How's it look?
It's looking good.
You want to guide it?
It's looking good. Perfect.
All right, let's lower the back and then we can push it back and forth.
We got everything tightened down. Now, unfortunately, after tightening this front strap, it pulled the front down, so I lost that gap I was aiming for in the front. So it's not ideal, but it's not on the windshield seal. But once I do run a bead across there, it will be on the windshield seal. It could be better, but it's not bad. It's still not ever gonna leak or ever gonna be removed. So like I said before, the Loctite that we use to seal the high top onto the van isn't the final seal. That pretty much just glues the top to the van. And then after that, once that dries, tomorrow we're gonna put the 3M sealant. It's a lot more runny, so we'll be able to get a good seal all the way around on the outside and on the inside as well.
Put a new roof on it in like 3 hours.
So the glue has been drying all night, and I slept here in Alex's driveway. I'm glad he's letting me do this. Now we're just gonna clean up the inside of the van. I put a bunch of stuff on the roof already just to get it off my bed. And we'll start laying down the 3M sealant on the inside, and then we'll move on to the outside and get a good bead going. I did notice already that since that glue from yesterday has dried, it is leaving some holes, like not holes, but pinholes on the inside of the high top here. I think instead of using the quick drying sealant on that again, we're just going to use the 3M sealant. It takes longer to dry, but it's fluid enough to where it'll fill in all those little imperfections, and I thought I saw only like 1 or 2 little pinholes. I think it'll be fine, and in the front here it is completely sealed up. The sealant has dried up enough now I could remove these straps and remove this 2x4 on both sides. We used 2 2x4s with 3 ratchet straps around the entire van to pull in the sides of the high top so they have the best chance of sealing. We ended up using rags in some spots to kind of push on the fiberglass so it seals nicely all the way around. On this side we had an extra piece of wood laying around, so we used that. Now that the high top is securely fastened to the van with the glue, I'm remasking the gutters in the high top so the black 3M adhesive can do its job. I've heard the black 3M marine adhesive is pretty runny and a little hard to work with, so I want to be able to mask the gutters so when I do apply it, it could seep into all the nooks and crannies of half of the gutter. And I don't know if this is the right way, but this is how I'm doing it. I ordered 2 tubes of the Loctite adhesive sealant and 5 tubes of the black 3M marine adhesive, just because that's what I read online. I'll leave an Amazon link in the description below so you can see exactly what I used. I am a little bummed that I did not accomplish that 1/8 inch gap between the top of the windshield seal and the bottom of the high top, but I think it's going to work out just fine. It just might be a little bit cumbersome replacing this windshield in the future. I just want to be sure and get this masking perfect up front so it doesn't leak. I might have gotten a little crazy with the masking, but hey, it's going to make for an easy cleanup. Now it's time to start sealing.
Yeah! Sick!
It's gonna be less messy than we thought. This is the most crucial part in this entire build, so taking our time doing this process will definitely pay off in the future. Alex is running a bead of the 3M sealant along the seam of the high top in the van, and I'm following behind him, smudging it up into the seam itself. After this process, I'll wait until it gets a little bit tacky, and then I'll run another bead of sealant. Now with the first coat on, we're mainly focused on pushing it up into all the little grooves, and then we're gonna wait until that gets tacky and then put another coat on top of that. In the meantime, I'm gonna go ahead and start tackling the inside. In total, we ended up using 2 tubes of sealant on the outside, so I've got 3 to play around with on the inside. And if that sounds like a lot, it's because it's a lot. In total, I used 4.5 tubes for the outside and inside. After applying the last coat on the outside, I'm peeling off all of the tape so it doesn't adhere to the high top. I've got the outside all sealed up. I've got the inside completely sealed up. The high top is installed. Like 100%. I'm not a betting man, and I know not everything in life is 100%, but if I had to put money on something, I would say that this thing will never leak and it's never coming off. I tried my hardest to use all the tubes, but that was just a lot of sealant, which is a good thing because, yeah, this thing is never gonna leak. While we're waiting for the glue to dry, which probably won't be for another couple days, we're gonna go ahead and install this Max Air fan. I went with the Max Air Fan Plus for this build, mainly because that's what I had on my pop top and it worked really well for me.
Good enough, you know?
Yeah.
Dude, 12-inch speed square? That's what's up.
Dude, these Max fans are extremely easy to install. After making a cardboard template and tracing it out on the ceiling of the high top, we drilled 4 holes from the bottom and started cutting from the top of the van. And we came up with this genius idea to tape a trash bag to where the hole is going to be so we don't get fiberglass shavings inside of my home.
Seeing how square our holes were. Yeah.
So it's like the hottest day of the year here in Salt Lake. It's 102 degrees outside. And this fan is, I think, in my personal opinion, a necessity going into summer. Now I just need to run to Lowe's and get some butyl tape or some sort of sealant to seal the roof vent fan on top of the high top, and then it's another job done. I thought it'd be worth it to add some Loctite sealant because it dries faster than the black sealant to the edge of my cut high top hole in hopes that it'll seal the fiberglass a little bit better. It's a new day and we got the sealant in the mail this morning, so we're gonna install this roof vent fan. So the idea behind this is to put the roof fan on top and mark out where I want to drill so I could go through the fiberglass and these furring strips that I installed last night. The Max Air Fan Plus comes with all of the hardware necessary to install this, given that you have a positive and a negative wire to go to it. I would recommend getting some butyl tape and lap sealant so you have that handy. And a drill with a good drill bit, and of course a jigsaw always helps too. Alex had some leftover kill mat from one of his previous builds and gave me the rest of the box, so I'm going to go ahead and throw those on. Kill mat is an extremely easy to install sound deadening material that you space out throughout the panel that you want to sound deaden. There are many different sound deadening materials out there on the market, but I found these to be the best bang for your buck on Amazon. I admit I might have gone a little overkill with the kill mat. This stuff is just way too easy to install. I mean, come on, this thing is gonna be so nice and quiet. I got it everywhere, because why not? I know you're supposed to cut them, but yeah, now I'm gonna have to install furring strips everywhere where there isn't kill mat, which should be easy, and then I'm gonna throw insulation over all that, and then that won't be until next week. Because next week I think I'm gonna come back down here to Utah and finish out the high top build out, because I still have insulation and a whole headliner and wood to install inside of here. And I have ran out of time because I've got to go shoot back on up to Jackson, Wyoming, because I have work tomorrow at like 5 in the morning. After a successful 4.5-hour drive from Salt Lake City to Jackson Hole, Wyoming, I couldn't be more pleased with how this thing performed. I'm happy to say that there are 0 issues along my route, and I'm actually convinced that I did everything right. I am by no means a professional high top installer, but if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below. It took me 3 days not knowing what I was doing to get this thing fully installed. You should definitely go check out one for yourself.